Welcome to the Discount Property Investor Podcast, where we show you how to buy real estate at a discount so you can create wealth over time and income today. Our mission is to share what we have learned from the experience of others and help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate, the Discount Property Investor way. Thanks for tuning in.
Ready. All right. Welcome back, Discount Property Investors. Thanks for joining us. I just want to remind everybody, check out the freewholesalecourse.com as well as the Discount Property Investor University. We have tons of awesome courses that we have been working on for the last 6 months, building out courses on wholesaling, rehabbing, landlording. We offer coaching. We have a new class, a new course on there about trusts. And today we are joined by an awesome, I'm super excited, special guest, Mr. Ted Thomas. Ted is an expert, to say the least, on tax liens and tax sales and tax certificates and everything that has to do with taxes and tax auctions. And this is actually one of the products that we do not have in our Discount Property Investor University. So I am thrilled to introduce Mr. Ted Thomas. Hey, Ted.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Cool. Well, thanks for we're glad to have you. Thanks for coming on.
Well, good.
And so you are the authority in tax certificates and auctions and sales, and I'm super excited to chat with you here for a little bit today. So tell me a little bit about, what you have been doing for the last, long time.
Yeah, 25 years.
25
years. Tax liens and tax deeds are a subject that a lot of people don't know about, but we'll finish 10 minutes and your audience will be really up to speed and they'll understand it completely.
Perfect.
So to start with, every property in the United States has a tax on it. So we call that the property tax. All right, so it doesn't matter in California, Missouri, Boston, or Philadelphia, wherever you might be, every property has a tax. Unfortunately for the government, everybody doesn't pay their tax bill. And so that turns out that with 100 million properties in the United States, about 2 or 3% of the people don't pay the tax. Now, when they don't pay the tax, that gives the government a shortfall because all of the local governments pay for the schools, the fire department, the police department, and the hospitals with tax money. In other words, the property tax money. So what about half of the states, they issue a piece of paper, and it's just a simple piece of paper like would come out of your computer printer, and that's called a tax certificate. So half of the states issue those, and then the other half of the states, they actually, if you don't pay your tax, they'll confiscate the property, and then they'll resell it for the back taxes. So an investor, whether it's a fixer-upper guy or a person that's just an investor or whatever they might be, can buy these properties at tax-defaulted auctions for starting bid just the back taxes. So now just imagine you are buying a property for just the back taxes and it doesn't have a mortgage.
So let me interrupt you for just a second here, Ted. So you're saying that if there's a property that has a mortgage on it and then they don't pay their taxes, let's say that for some reason that the mortgage isn't escrowed, and then they don't pay their taxes, that tax is the first lien. It's bumped all the way up to the front.
Right. It's always the first lien on the property because that was issued the day that they made the subdivision. They made a subdivision. They give the subdivision a number. Every lot gets a number. That's the tax number.
Got it.
So that's the first tax on every property. It's ahead of the IRS.
It's ahead of the IRS. Holy cow.
It's the absolute first lien on the property. So if you have a lien on that property, either the bank's going to pay it or it's going to go to auction. And that's what happens.
And when it goes to auction and somebody like me or you pays it, everything else just gets wiped away?
Wiped away. They can't see it because we're on a podcast, but I'm actually holding up a brochure for an auction that's going to take place next week in New York State, okay? And this particular auction has 330 properties. All of those properties have no mortgage, and the starting bid is approximately the back taxes.
Holy
that's a
cow.
Way to buy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, it's a whole new world for fixer-upper people because now you're going to buy a property for the back taxes.
Just for the taxes?
Yeah,
so how many of these?
50 cents, 70 cents.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, I mean, as a wholesaler in St. Louis, when we go out and we pick up properties, our goal is to pick them up at, around 70, 75 cents on the dollar. And then we can then sell them to our investors at maybe 80 cents or 82 cents on the dollar. And we're just making that little spread. In some properties, in good areas, we may pay 85, 90 cents and make a penny or two. In other areas, we can get them at 50 cents on the dollar. But what would you say that the average that you're picking these things up for?
I'm going to surprise you because you're going to become my new best friend. Because what I buy them for is I buy properties like the last bunch I bought about 7, and the highest I paid was 30 cents on the dollar. The lowest I paid was 17 cents on the dollar.
What? That is crazy, man.
Yeah. And I could show you thousands of these. In the United States, and most people don't know this, there's 5,000 tax auctions every year. That's 100 a week. And the average guy doesn't know anything about it.
5,000 a year?
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking at my desk here, and I don't have one. If I showed you the auction list for Los Angeles, it would be 3 inches thick. It's bigger than the St. Louis phone book.
No way. 100 a day?
100 a day in every single county. There's 3,143 counties. Every county has a tax auction every year. Now in Texas, matter of fact, we have a group in Texas. We have 9 couples in Texas, right in Dallas and Tarrant County right now, because the first Tuesday of the month, they have the auction in Texas. There's 250 counties. There's 250 auctions today just in Texas.
Just in Texas, 250 today?
Today, the day we're talking.
So this isn't, so you're saying that these auctions, they're not like, so in St. Louis, I know that there are, in the city, there's like 6 days a year where they do the auctions. But in the county, it's every single day. So is that more of the norm?
No, it's different in every state. Now, see, what happened is the United States started out with the colonies in the East. So they started out, they had states and they had municipalities and they had townships and so on. And then as the population moved west and they kept stealing from the Indians, well, as they did that, those states came into their own right, and so all the states have their own rules. So what you really have to do when you've learned this is you have to learn your state and where you go. But I teach people how to buy this online. I teach the class that I'm going to show you about today. I teach the class in Singapore. I teach in Bangkok. I teach it in Australia. I can teach people how to do this online. We actually buy properties online and resell them online.
So you buy properties that you don't even see.
Well, nowadays you can see them with satellites. You could not just Google.
That's true.
Not just Google. But now they have what they call the GIS mapping system. It's the satellites. It's way up there at 30,000, and it comes down, and you can tell whether there's a geranium on the front porch.
Holy
You can
cow.
tell everything about the property. So
That's
it's amazing.
crazy.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. But anyway, there's thousands of these auctions. So there's 2 things that happen. About half of the states sell a tax lien certificate. Now, these are really sexy. So that people that are older than yourself and older than your fixer-upper guys, the kind of gray-haired types like me, they like the tax liens because they're very conservative. So let me get you to understand that first.
So there's 2 types. Let me just reiterate. 2 types here, and we're talking about the tax lien certificates. That's the first one.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Okay,
so that's the sexy one. All right, so let's say you bought a tax lien certificate in Florida.
Okay.
That certificate means what you did is you paid someone else's tax. So that means the state was very benevolent. They just sold the certificate. So you just bought a piece of paper. That's all you bought. And 98% of those people will come in and pay their certificate. They'll come in and pay for it. But if they don't come in and pay for it, then you bought a certificate. You now get the house.
So, all right, say that again. My mind is blown.
Nobody believes it.
Okay,
all right,
say this one more time.
You go to the auction. You raise your hand up in the air. You bid on that certificate. They give you a certificate. It's just a piece of paper like it's come out of your computer.
Okay.
You take it home.
Now you get to pay cash for it.
You pay cash. You got to pay cash.
Okay, you pay cash. But you're getting it, like you just said, 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar.
No, less than that. You're getting it for the back taxes.
Oh, just for the
All
back
you're doing is
taxes.
paying the taxes.
Couple grand.
$1,500. You can buy a tax there for $50.
Holy cow.
Whatever
Okay.
the tax
So
is,
you get
whatever
this
the-
tax certificate.
Right.
Okay. And then what happens again?
Well, nothing happens. All you do is you take the certificate home and you sit on your rusty dusty. It's a passive investment. So this is good for old ladies and stuff like that.
Okay. So does this thing pay an interest rate then, or?
Yeah. So what happens in Florida, the certificate pays all the way up to 18%.
Woo.
So let's say the taxes on the house are $1,000.
Okay.
Okay. So you go and pay $1,000 certificate. You pay for it. All right. So you can't give the money to me now. You give it to the county.
Right.
You give the money to the county. Now you take the certificate home. So 1 year later, the people pay the tax. If they pay it, then they have to pay you back the $1,000. Now Now, they always have to pay you back. So you get your money back, plus you get 18%.
Now, who do they pay the money to? Does it go to the state first, or the city, the county, whatever, and then they
It
pay
goes
you?
directly. It goes. You can't give the money to individual. There's no brokers involved, no attorneys involved, none of that stuff. You pay directly to the county.
Okay.
So county announcer. Now, you can't. The audience can't see it, but I'm going to hold one up so you can see it because we're live. I'm holding up a newspaper. The newspaper has 150 pages in it,
Damn,
and it's
that's a
all
big
just
paper.
a list of tax liens.
That's
Great
all
big-
liens.
It's all liens, and this is Tampa, Florida. There's 40,000 tax certificates just in Tampa, Florida.
Wow.
Just one county.
Why does nobody in
Just-
Tampa pay their taxes, Ted? What's going on down there?
You know, in Florida, in the month of May, they issue 1 million certificates every year.
What?
1 million certificates every year.
Every year? That's crazy. That's madness.
That people don't pay their taxes. So anybody can go in and pay them. You can pay anybody's tax you want. You get a certificate. The certificate entitles you to ownership in that property.
Okay,
When I
so
say
you get the
ownership,
certificate, and then so you said it goes up to 18%. I'd imagine other areas, states, have different rates, but regardless. So you get the certificate. You buy it from the county, for example, and then you just go home. And then whenever the person that owns that property, I just wanted to clarify this for our listeners and our viewers here. The person that owns that property that didn't pay it because you paid it,
Right.
when they get around to paying it, they then pay that, not to you, to the county, and then the county reimburses you. Is that how that works?
Exactly. They pay the county, so you got it perfect. You did a perfect description. So you when the people pay their taxes, then the county calls you and said, send your certificate in, and we'll send you the money you paid for it, plus the high
Plus
interest rate.
the interest rate. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if you do that exact scenario like we just spoke about?
Right.
However, the owner of that land or that property or that house doesn't pay it. What happens next?
Well, you're going to get the property.
No way. You just get it.
Yeah.
You just take it over.
Listen, you can go to the state of Iowa, which is right up the street from you.
It is.
And I know it is. I go to the auctions all over the country. I know this country like the back of my hand.
That's right.
Okay? So I'll go to Des Moines and I'll buy a certificate, and I take that certificate home. In Des Moines, the certificate pays 24%.
Holy cow. Now, what is the redemption period on these things?
Well, they're all different. Every state's different.
Sure.
So, like
sure.
if you buy in Des Moines, they give you all year to pay it. All right. So any month you come in and pay in Des Moines, for example, you're going to earn 2% for every month that the certificate was unpaid. Now think about this. You bought a certificate today. Every single month they don't pay you. They owe you 2% more. Now you go to the bank, you get 1% on your money. You're going to
Annually.
get 2%.
Annually.
That's
Holy
right. Annually.
cow,
Yeah,
man. That's
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah. Now in Texas, if you buy a certificate in Texas, like I told you, I got a class in Texas today.
Mhm.
If they buy the certificate, they have to pay the county. So they give the county cash. The county gives them the certificate. That certificate earns 25% on any day that they come in to pay. So if they come in to pay
own it for one day.
one day, you get 25%.
Holy cow. So the city's the one that's actually collecting that interest rate too. Or the county, I mean. The county's the one that's actually collecting that interest rate from the landowner, right? So
You have no collections. You just go home and sit on your rusty dusty. There's
so
no work
so
to
you're
do.
actually kind of hoping that they don't pay you, because then you get the property and then you can sell it.
Well, actually, what you do is you put your hands together and you get on your knees next to your bed and you start praying if they don't pay. That's what you do.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. All right, so that's model 1, or that's
Right.
I should say type 1. So it's the
Right.
tax lien certificate. Ted, I'm learning a ton. Thank you again for joining me on the show today. This is awesome. This is awesome.
This is powerful.
This is powerful, man. I love your excitement and your enthusiasm. This is great. Okay,
Yeah.
so option 1, we have the tax lien certificate. What is the other option? And I'm assuming there's only 2?
There's only 2. There's some little hybrids in there, but once you learn 1 and 2, you're okay.
Okay,
All
gotcha.
right. So number 2, if you're in a state which we're going to call a tax defaulted auction state.
Now, how many? I'm
or
going
tax
to
lien.
interrupt you for 1 second. How many of the states are which?
It's not exactly balanced. It leans more towards the one we're going to talk about now. About 60% of the states sell tax defaulted property. They don't mess
tax
around.
defaulted property. Getting it right. Okay.
That means you didn't pay the tax. They'll send you notice and notice and notice. Those are registered letters. We all call that due process.
Right.
They keep sending you those letters. And if you don't react and pay the tax, then what they do is the local government, the county now, confiscates that property. In other words, they seize the property.
So they take it. So a little bit more than half of the states, that's how it works.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So,
now,
so the county comes in, then they just take it. So that's probably after 2 or 3 years, right, of them sending you these notices, or
in Texas, it's 180 days.
Holy cow, that's nothing, man.
It's nothing.
That's nothing.
Right. That's right.
Damn.
Most states, it's 18 months to 2 years.
Got it. Okay. So they come in, you don't pay your taxes. They've sent you multiple notices. Say, hey, get your rear in gear, and you don't, or they don't. Let's say. And then this county just takes it. And then what? So then what happens next?
All right. So now the county, they don't want any more property. That's the last thing they want is property.
Well, they're not collecting taxes on property they own.
Exactly.
How are they going to fund the fire department and the education and all these things that those taxes go to?
Right. So so now they can't pay their bills or pay their county employees. Right. So what they say is, all right, we're going to have an auction. So what I'm holding up now, your audience can't see it. This is just a brochure. I think this one has about 30 or 40 pages. Let me look. This one has 35 pages, and it's just a listing of tax defaulted properties in a county in New York. It's just a listing of them. Okay. And it shows me a picture, shows me all about the property, tells me what the value is, tells me what school district it is. All right, now that's just one auction that I'm going to next week. Mm-hmm. Now this particular one I'm holding has this one county has 313 properties to sell.
One county, 313. Now, these are already all taken back.
The county owns the property.
Wow.
The county's going to have an auction.
Holy cow. Now, and they're going to do all those in one day?
Actually, it'll take them 2 days.
I was going to say, that's a ton of properties, man. Holy cow.
Yeah. Oh, this is a small auction. You go to Los Angeles, one of the wealthiest counties in the United States, they will have 1,500 to 2,000 properties, and they auction them off all in one day. Now listen to see if the microphone will pick this up. I'm snapping my finger. Can you hear my finger snapping?
Hold it closer to your mouth. I'll hear it.
All right. Can you hear it now?
I can hear it now, yep.
Okay, that's how fast they sell a property.
That quick. So there's got to be multiple auctioneers at those auctions then.
No, it's just one in L.A. He goes so fast you can't believe it.
Yeah, that makes my head spin just thinking about it. That's crazy.
Well, the beauty of it is once you learn this, you learn what to do when they don't sell them. They're never able to sell all the property, by the way.
Right.
They never get them all done.
Oh, of course.
There's always leftovers. We even teach people how to buy the leftovers.
That's awesome.
All right, so those properties, the starting bid generally is the back taxes. So a property that was coming up for auction will have the back taxes and some interest added to it, and there's some hand-slapping penalties and what have you. But that's where it starts. So that's usually going to be somewhere around 3 to 10 cents on the dollar.
Man, that's nothing.
With no mortgage.
So the mortgage is wiped clean.
Wiped out.
And you just pay between 3 and 10, maybe 12 cents, somewhere in that range.
Well, but you know what? There's going to be some savvy guys like you show up.
I'm going to be at the next one, that's for sure.
So you go and look and you say, wait a minute, that one needs a roof, and it needs a kitchen, it needs this. So heck, we're gonna buy that for about 20 cents. Well,
sure.
I'm trying to buy it for 10, you're going to buy it for 20, and you're going to go fix it up. Then you're going to put it out on the market for 50, 60 cents on the dollar, which is where everybody else is buying them.
Right.
Now you can sell them to the fixer-upper guys.
I love it, man. I love it. So,
exactly.
So let me just ask you one quick question, Ted. This is something that I think I know, but I want you to clarify because, again, you're the authority on this. You know this. You've been doing this forever. You are the guy here. So whenever you go to type 2, where the county takes the property already, the county essentially owns it at that point, and then they auction it off for the taxes. The bids, they get bid up for a dollar amount. So it maybe starts at $5,000, then it goes to 8, 12, 15, and then it sells at 19 or whatever. But with option 1, it doesn't work that way. It's a little different, right? So option 1 is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've read a couple books on the topic, and I just want to make sure that my information is correct. But on option 1, where you're just buying the certificate, it's actually a little bit different in the way that the auction happens, because the city wants, or the county wants, their money regardless. So you have to pay that. But then what you're actually bidding on is the interest rate. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Right. So you're absolutely right. You've got it nailed down. The first one is tax lien certificates. That's just an investment in a certificate.
Okay.
In other words, it'd be like buying a mortgage or something
So
like
that's
that.
pretty.
Buying a note.
That's you're
That's
buying
all that is.
paper. It's
Buying a
it's
bond.
a little bit
Buying a
more
bond.
hands off. Buying a bond.
Okay,
There
so
you go.
yeah,
Got it.
hands off, and that's for conservative investors. Now the other side of it is for the entrepreneurial and the fixer-upper guys. What they basically want to do
They want
is
the
they want to
property.
deal in a property because they're going to get in there and knock down a wall. They're going to fix some
They
windows.
want the
Some
property.
new
Got
doors.
it.
They want the property.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
All right.
So on the first one, though,
fortunately-
real quick, whenever you're bidding on the interest rate, it's
Yeah.
actually the inverse to option two. Option two, you're bidding with money, and that money goes up. Each bid is a higher bid. But on the first side, though, you're bidding on the interest rate, and essentially you're bidding each bid makes the rate lower. Is that right?
And- yeah.
So it may start at 23, and then you come in and you say, Dave, I'll pay. I'll do it for 21, and then I come in and say 20, and then you say, all right, final number 19, and then I say take it, and that would be the rate, right?
Right. So
Very
that's
fascinating.
one method. There's a lot of methods, but you've got the two basic ones that are important. And,
Got it,
You
got
know,
it.
if someone goes to class, we teach them all the different ones because certainly Missouri is going to be different than Florida, and Florida is going to be different than New York, and New York's going to be different than Seattle, and what have you. And so we actually teach it for the whole United States. So essentially you've got the process, and any listener now understands that this could be quite a business either way. Either
Ted,
side
this is
good.
great. Well, so we have listeners all over the U.S. and even outside of the U.S., like you were just mentioning. And with every state being a little different, where would the listeners go to learn how to do this themselves, Ted?
Well, I've got a site, and I call it, it's real easy, tedthomas.com. And if they'll put a slash on there, we'll send them a special bonus. Put tedthomas.com and then slash discount property investor. And there's a nice little course there. They could take 3 free videos and give them all the details. And it'll tell them, and they don't have to spend any money. They can just go look at those 3 videos, and they'll get even more education than what they're getting right now. Because what I do is I explain how people from other parts of the country do it. So they can do that. So anybody that wants to do that, they just go tedthomas.com/discount property investor.
Awesome. So the / discount property investor will give them a little bonus. It'll give them a little discount something along those lines.
They'll not only get a discount, but they'll also get a bonus booklet sent out to them right away, which is a consumer's guide. It's about a 25-page guide. Tells people how to do it in all the states.
No way. So you've built out a course or a system that lays it out no matter where you're at in the country. It shows you how to do it, or even out of the country. Holy cow.
I teach people I have, they will actually, if they go to that website, they will actually, this is surprising, they will see people making 6-figure incomes that live in Canada and never come to the United States.
Holy cow. So you're saying that I don't even need to invest in my backyard with this system. I could be buying properties in Miami or Phoenix or New Orleans or whatever, right?
You can buy anywhere in the United States. The only prerequisite is that you have the money to pay. They don't care. I teach this class in Mexico City.
Holy cow, man.
Well, think of what they do.
So they're not buying those liens in Mexico, though. They're buying them in the United States.
They're buying it. Yeah, it's only 2 hours up to Houston, so they go to the sale in Houston. Now, Houston's having a sale today. Now, I'm not at the sale, but I could guarantee you, because I've followed that sale for 20 years, there will be at least 20 properties in Houston that they will auction off today.
No
Not 20,
way.
200.
200
Today.
How often do they have those sales in Houston?
Texas does it the first Tuesday of the month, every month.
So 12 times a year.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
This is awesome.
Some places do it once a year, some places once a month. In Orlando, they do an auction every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. So every
amazing.
area is a little different. So let me ask you this, Ted. You know this because you've been doing it forever. Somebody like me, I've read a book or two on the topic. I know a little bit about it, but not enough to really get my feet wet. So if I go to tedthomas.com and then we get that little bonus with the / discount property investor, you can teach us how to do all this stuff on there, right? You have some courses and
You
some
can use,
stuff
they
that
can
we
go
can
from
purchase
A to Z on this, and we even, for people that people your age are entrepreneurs. They're going to really go after it. Some people a little older, they're kind of conservative. Sometimes they say, well, gee, Ted, can you take us to an auction? We actually take people on auction tour where they go. Now, the instructor doesn't bid against them, but we have 9 people in Texas today. Next week, we'll have, I think, 8 people in New York State buying in New York State. So we do this all over the country, and we do it. We do seminar. We do everything possible on this business, and we've done it for well over 20 years.
Man,
well over 20.
This is awesome. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So I'm on the site right now and I'm looking and you got all kinds of stuff on here. You got a couple different options for some things and like you said, some free videos. So I'm ready to jump in,
definitely should go see the free videos. If they miss the videos, they really miss something because they can actually see me as a reporter interviewing me, and he'll actually, and then from time to time we cut from that and go right to a video, and then they can see someone doing it.
Someone buying it at the auction.
Well, we can't video the auction. The state won't let us do that, but we can interview the person as soon as they get out.
As soon as they get out, right?
Yeah.
Holy cow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
The states won't let us in the room. As soon as you bring a camera, they panic. They
right.
don't want to, they think you're 60 minutes or something.
Well, what I really like about this, Ted, is that you have 2 different options. You have the more of the passive side where you can buy the certificates.
Right.
And if you're not looking to rip down walls and rehab houses and you just want to make an amazing interest rate, because like we both said, the bank's only going to give you 1, maybe 1.5%. I mean, it's embarrassing. After inflation, you're losing money, you know? And the other option is, let's say I want to rehab houses. I'm into that. I can actually just go buy the property. So it gives you a lot of flexibility on, what you can invest in. And the interest rates are unheard of, man. I'm not making 18, 20, 23% in the stock market. I'd be lucky to make 7.
Exactly. So that every state has a little bit different rule, and it's amazing. I have a friend that called me from Oklahoma City last weekend. Today's Tuesday, so he called me on Saturday. I said, "What are you doing in Oklahoma City?" He said, "Well, Ted, the auction's this week." I said, "Oh, I forgot all about it." And he said, "Well, too bad for you." And I said, "Well, all right, tell me about it." Yeah. He said, "Well, I'm working 2 auctions this weekend." I said, "Which 2?" He said, "Tulsa and Oklahoma City." I said, "Well, how many properties are they selling?" Now, in Oklahoma, they sell the property. So we call that a tax defaulted property.
Tax default. That's the actual property in Oklahoma.
Actual property. Okay. All right, so he's at both of those auctions. They had over 1,500 properties for him to choose from this weekend.
Man, that's a lot of people not paying their taxes.
Well, the politicians want you to think the economy's good, but I'm telling you, every year, you see this round numbers, 100 million houses.
Right.
And 2 to 3% go to auction every year.
So that's 2 to 3 million. Holy cow.
Every year. I've been doing this for decades. I could show you a history from way back when.
2 to 3%?
2 to 3%.
That's a big number when you're thinking about the whole country. Yeah. Holy cow. Yeah.
Next time we do an interview, we'll plan it a little better and we'll bring it up on video. Mm-hmm. Now, you podcast guys can still listen to it.
Sure.
And we'll pull up an auction list and you can see the auction list and you're going to have a heart attack. Because you're going to see properties are going to get sold for back taxes. And you'll look at it and you'll see the picture and say, "Ted, that one needs a paint, new windows, and the roof, and it's ready to go." And I said, "Well, it looks like the value, according to the tax collector, not me, according to the tax collector, it's worth $200,000. Starting bid's $35,000.
Man, I'll buy 30 of those today.
Of course you would.
That's amazing.
We can show you step by step how to do that. So next time we do an interview, let your guys go and watch the...
Yeah, Ted, I'm going to educate myself on this. I'm going to jump in and take this course right now. And maybe we can connect back here in a couple weeks. And by then, I'll have a lot more information about this. And hopefully I can maybe give you some updates on some of the tax sales and certificates that I've purchased since this interview. That would be pretty cool, don't you think?
Right, absolutely. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I know I've learned a ton. I know our listeners and our viewers are going to get a ton of value out of the program that you put together to teach people, not even locally. They can be anywhere in the world, and you can buy in any state, which is just crazy because me as a wholesaler in St. Louis, I'm limited to like 30, 40 miles just because I'm too lazy to want to drive 50, 60 miles to go buy a property. But if I can do it from my computer or my phone or my laptop, anywhere in the world, it's a game changer. This is a game changer. So I'm going to jump right in one more time.
Okay.
Let's drop out that website to where they can get
Good,
the special bonus. Ted Thomas, that's TEDTHOMAS.com, and then / discount property investor.
That's
the
great.
discount
That's
property
perfect.
investor / is going to give them a bonus.
Special bonus.
A special bonus. Awesome.
And next time we talk, I'm going to get a black T-shirt and a gray hat, and one of those big microphones, so I look like I'm on ESPN.
That's right. Ted, you look damn good, man. You don't need to do anything else. You keep it up. You're looking good and healthy. I like it.
All right, good.
All right, Ted. Well, that's a show, man. That's a wrap. We're going to wrap it up. Ted, thanks again for coming on. We really appreciate it. Let's try to maybe reconnect here in a couple weeks. I'm going to jump into this course either today or tomorrow and just try to take up as much knowledge as possible. And one final question to close the show out, Ted.
Sure.
After I take the course and I learn how this works and I start purchasing the certificates and the properties, this is something that I could hire somebody to do in my office that I could just say, hey, your job solely is to just do the tax side of this while I continue to do the wholesale side of the business. Essentially, exactly. That's something that I could teach someone else too, right?
Exactly. You can't see her on the video that we're on, and the podcast people can't see it. But the young lady that put this together, her name is Ashley. And at the last auction, matter of fact, have a little fun, call her on the phone and ask her what happened the last auction. She'll tell you about the bidding. I just stand behind her, and she does the bidding for me.
I love it. I love it. That's so good? Great.
All you got to do is have the money in the bank.
I got some money in the bank. Yeah.
Is that good?
This sounds great. Well, Ted, thanks again. Much appreciated. It was a pleasure having you on the show. And guys, check it out. TedThomas.com / discount property investor. It's got a ton of information on there, some free videos, and a couple different options for some courses and some coaching that Ted offers. And that's a wrap. We're signing off. Ted, until next time, my friend.
Okay.
We'll
see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ted. Bye-bye now.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thanks in advance for your support. And remember, you make your money when you buy and get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.